Hola, mi amigos. Bienvenidos. I want to sleep. Like, really sleep. I can't. Anyways, today we are going to be reacting to 10 animals that you might not know exist. Let's go. What is you? Jesus Christ.
Popular animal in the world? Well, I was curious, and after extensive
I don't
research,
know what the
I
most
found a
popular.
map, a world map that used Google Keyword Planner and cross-reference searches.
What is the most popular animal in the world? Not counting household pets like not counting household pets like dogs, cats, none of that. I would think I'm blank. I'm blank. Most popular animal in the world. Think of an animal on the top of your head. Go, giraffe. What the fuck? Why giraffe? Surely it's a bird. I guess we'll find out.
Monkeys won't
What to
approach
do,
me. Pandas
gang?
have Indonesia in a chokehold. And
Oh,
apparently my mother country of Senegal loves hippos.
huh.
No comment on that. But you want
Hell
to know what
no.
the overwhelming favorite was? The runaway winner was, by far, the tiger, with 44 countries riding for them. At number 2 with 28 countries were hippos, proving that you gotta be famous to be
This boy
hippos.
fast
These were the
on
top 10
land
animals
and
according to this
water.
map. It's cool.
As the
It's not
bite
perfect.
force of
The
I
lion
don't
is the
know, but
national
it's
animal for
really
19
strong.
different countries. A record, but they just
Most
barely made
dangerous
the
animal on
top
the
10.
planet.
But then this got me thinking, what about all those animals that don't get nearly enough talk time? Well, this video
Enough
is for
screen
them.
time,
Here's
bro.
10 animals you either didn't know existed, forgot about, or that my personal
Fuck
bias, which we talked about more. And starting off is the maned wolf. It's one of those animals whose
The
name does
what?
nothing for it, since it's not a wolf, not a fox, or even a Latin coyote in black knee-highs. Apparently, they're just themselves, and they are literally built different. They're tall enough to look down on some Great Danes, but at about 50 pounds soaking wet, they're more in the weight class of a basset hound. How you can dwarf Scooby yet get bodied by Snoopy's depressed cousin is unconscionable. And virtually every picture of a maned wolf looks AI
A
generated.
Maine
It's a
wolf.
genetically sequenced identity crisis, so it's only right that it sounds like one.
Hell no. I hear that. I'm turning around.
Smells like Snoop
Boy
Dogg
built like a
salad. This is 100%
skinwalker.
true. In fact, they've even gotten some zoos raided by police looking for cannabis. But all they found was a candid mid-piss. If the canine family had a cookout, this ginger still puppy would be the one pulling up with veggie burgers. Most of a Maine wolf's grocery list includes fruits and veggies, with Lobera, aka the wolf's
Why
apple,
bro
getting its
stands
name
up
from this
like
orchard
that?
mode fox constantly eating it. They also made history as the first wild animal to be successfully treated through stem cell therapy after one got hit by a truck. All in all, I
Huh.
think they're pretty cool. I'd call them a dog that can't dog, but that's more accurate for the raccoon dog.
I thought he
Another
was
animal
a
you
raccoon
probably
dog.
forgot existed. Most people know about them from two things: the Tanuki suit from Mario, and their role in Japanese mythology as the Baketanuki. And due to certain aspects of that myth and the fact that I'd like to stay monetized, that's all I'm going to say about them. Because unlike them, I don't have the balls to test guidelines. Raccoon dogs aren't even remotely related to raccoons. It basically stole their entire
Raccoon dogs.
flococonvergent evolution.
What are these
They're canines, meaning
creatures?
they sit at the same lunch table as wolves, dogs, and coyotes. But their closest cousins are foxes. Which reminds me, close your eyes. There's no jump scare coming, I swear. This will be fun. Just close them real quick. All right, everyone ready? Okay.
What the fuck? What am I listening? Is this a birthday party? Cause the clown ain't funny.
That was not the sound of two clowns with marital issues. That was what a raccoon dog roll call sounds like. You see what I mean by the
That
whole
is
dog
their.
that can't really dog properly thing? They're the only
Hell
canines that
no.
hibernate. Seriously,
Hell no.
there is no looking past this ET looking antelope. This is a Saiga, and that is 100% unfiltered. They really do
Saiga.
look like Star Wars in the face. That sizable schnoz piece is designed to filter out the dust kicked up by a herd that used to be millions
Bro
strong.
built
It's like
like
a
an
built-in
ass.
respirator that also makes them look like Alf's illegitimate child. I realize that's a dated reference, so here's Alf, and here's a Saiga. You see it too, right? Now you might be wondering, can that nose be used to amplify mating calls and increase their chances with females who sexually select for bigger noses?
Why is
And
it?
you're absolutely right, they do use their noses to amplify mating calls and increase their chances with females who sexually select for bigger noses. Because size queens come in many forms. And speaking of female validation, eligible bachelors will run fades with each other using those horns in order to gain control of a harem. Unfortunately, those horns can get them laid and laid to rest, since Saigas have been victims of poaching, and that and disease and habitat loss nearly has this Narnia goat's entire population in the gulag. Today, they're critically endangered and found only one place in the world, in the dry grasslands and semi-deserts of Central Asia. But that's too depressing, so here's a
Of
baby
course they're in
Saiga. Now
Asia.
here's two baby Saigas. But you want to know what's even more depressing? There's a good percentage of the population that doesn't realize that narwhals are real. Yeah, we didn't make those up. They really do be out here swimming in the ocean.
That
causing
one
commotion, which is
actually knew
just
is
so
real.
awesome. It's
That
an
one I
aquatic
knew.
unicorn except that horn is actually a giant inside-out tooth with millions of nerve endings.
Mm-hmm.
We used to think that narwhals use this single tooth overbite for violence, but with how sensitive it is, it's much more likely that it just tells the whale about the world around it, similar to
Yeah,
cat whiskers. Also, that
I
tooth is
assume it was
flexible
like,
and they
yeah,
can
cat and
bend it
whiskers
or
were
flip in any
like,
direction, and I
what's
didn't
it
even know
called, a
that until
beluga
this
whale with
video. One reason
echolocation,
we
so it
don't know
knows
more
its
about them is because
surroundings and that.
narwhals are painfully shy introverts that can legitimately get
Just like me, bro.
traveling with a pod of beluga whales, and ever since then, they've watched him run with the
See,
belugas
just
like
like
he was
beluga
one of their
whales.
own. But there's a good chance this is more than just a friend situation. Because Narluga isn't a ship name, it's the result of a beluga and a narwhal hooking up and creating a hybrid. Which they can't know
Beluga
since
and
somehow an
narwhal
internal
makes a
extrovert and a whale with a literal self-destruct setting for social interaction are related. Speaking of related, you know how I said the Maine wolf isn't actually a wolf or a fox?
Mm.
Well, I can give you 100 tries. You'll never guess this deer dog's closest canine cousin. And that's because it's an animal a lot of y'all probably didn't even know existed.
Deer dog.
And that would be the South American bush dog. Even though they look like that meme of 5'11 versus 6 foot. We all have that brother, sister, or cousin we swear stole height from us. Evidently, the maned wolf took all the legs in the family and turned the bush dog into an ankle biter. I can only make this joke so many times, but if you took one look at them and thought they were a wolverine or an undercooked bear or even a really confused Tasmanian devil, nobody would blame you. Especially since for a while, we thought this weasel beagle went extinct. It
Boy,
took a
you
few years
hungry?
for us to realize they didn't get discontinued and even longer to put them in the canine club. Bush dogs live in packs and they're kind of like the African wild dogs of the Amazon. But instead of running prey down on land, bush dogs would rather ambush ops in water, which they're really good at thanks to webbed feet, their ability to dive, but most importantly, the power of friendship. They usually go for small
Aww.
rodents, birds, lizards, and the occasional capybara. But bush dogs have been on record murking a tapir after chasing it around for hours. The same tapir that can weigh about 2 prime shacks at nearly 700 pounds. Yeah, the power of friendship. Finding one bush dog, let alone a whole pack, is veteran level difficulty. But if you happen to be walking through the jungle and smell salad, you might just get lucky. Because the scent signature they mark their territory with gives a strong impression of vinegar.
Boy
Since they
doing
can follow the
handstand ready
700-pound
for his
horse
next
cow,
set.
luck might not be the right word. You need more than luck to catch this cat. The clouded leopard is so secretive and so
The
introverted
clouded
that
leopard.
we honestly don't know a whole lot.
Boys sound like he's been vaping up clouds.
Rotate their ankles 180 degrees, which means unlike most other cats, clouded leopards can climb down a tree head first. They'll even cross a branch upside down for no other reason but to flex. In fact, their
My
entire
man's half
existence is a
monkey,
flex.
what the
It's
fuck?
widely believed that this overcast kitty diverged from the common
He's
ancestor
hungry,
of
look at
companion
him. He's
cats up to
staring
9
down that
million years
camera.
ago. Not only does that make them the most ancient species of cat alive today, it also makes them a living fossil. You see, on the left is the skull of a clouded leopard, and on the right is the headpiece of Smilodon, aka a prehistoric predator of the
saber-toothed
saber-tooth
tiger.
variety. In fact, clouded leopards often get called the modern-day saber-tooth because they have the longest canine teeth of any mammal to body size. That's longer than lions, tigers, and even the Cayman's paralysis demon, the jaguar. Also, despite its name, it's not technically a leopard, and while you could call it the smallest of big cats, scientists widely believe that the clouded leopard is actually the link between big cats and small cats. Big cats referring to lions, tigers, jaguars, leopards, and snow leopards, which also aren't even real leopards either, and small cats being the rest, like cheetahs, pumas, ocelots, and of course domestic cats.
Aww,
Also, it's not
I
really
like
a size thing,
ocelots.
it's more
I like ocelots.
big cats can roar but can't purr, and small cats can purr but can't
Roar.
Clouded leopards can't do either, instead they do this.
Sound like an auntie breaking down after a good joke.
Do a manatee, a dugong, and an elephant all have in common? They
Facts.
end up at the same family reunion as the rock hyrax. That's right, this African boulder gerbil, this marmot from the motherlands, is cousins with the biggest thing on Earth with legs. The hyrax is also clade mates with aardvarks, elephant shrews, and
How?
tigers. It makes less sense the harder you think about it. Although in their defense, hyraxes have the same tusks that elephants do, but like with the maned wolf and the bush dog, someone had to get the short end. And did they ever? Hyraxes also can't really control their body temperature, despite that being one of the first rules of being a mammal. So to fight the fact that nature made them as close to cold-blooded as a mammal can get, hyraxes spend most of their time basking in the sun. I used to think they were just chill like that, but apparently chill is exactly what they're trying to avoid. Also, they make a sound that's almost a guaranteed trip to therapy if you ever hear it in person. I'm not going to do this for every animal, but I couldn't not add this.
Shut up!
This thing has more in common with
You sound
mammoths
even more
than it does
annoying than a
with pansies.
bat.
I want that to sink in. And the only thing arguably more unbelievable than that is whales and dolphins being the closest living relatives of hippos. At this point, nothing really needs to be said. We all know hippos are homicidal demon pigs with the temperament of a landmine. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're only Google famous the same way Logan Paul was back in 2017. If you know, you know. But what a lot of people don't know is the tiny travel-sized version that lives today. The pygmy hippo is 5 times
The
smaller
pygmy
and half
hippo.
as tall as their murderous cousins. They're also forest animals, solitary and naturally shy, and they're much less of a
This
threat to
dude
humanity.
looks like he's
Just don't
out
go
of
and tell a cat.
Narnia.
You
What
know
the
this one's
hell?
name is Sweet Pork. I'm not even making that up. Like basically every other animal, they can be on demon timing if you push them enough. But clearly the aquatic oppression horse stole all their ill will, because no shot could you slap one dead in the face and not end up dead with no trace. Well, I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. Now, you've
Bold. What?
definitely heard of this next animal before. It's just that the last time you probably did, Chris Rock and Jada Smith were on speaking and not slapping terms. And of course, we're talking about Madagascar's top predator and the bane to lemurs everywhere, the Fusa. Although with
The
its spelling,
Fusa.
I'm pretty sure it's actually Fossa, but the day I pronounce it like that is the day I lay my childhood to rest. The Fusa is
Fusa.
pretty much a
Fusa's
Madagascar
better.
mongoose. And if you know how psychotic monkeys are, you'll understand why the lemur population treated them like terrorists.
Mm.
But one thing I never realized because of the movie is they're not that much bigger than the lemurs they eat. And they have the same flexible exorcist ankles as the clouded leopard, meaning trees are pretty much their home court. Especially since they have tails longer than a Monday to keep balance.
So
Fusas also
they're
have,
half
I'm gonna
ape
say,
too.
interesting mating practices. And once again, I want to stay monetized, so I'm not gonna step in that minefield. Just know that
Fair
if you
enough.
follow a female Fusa long enough, you might not hear the choo-choo, but you will see a train. And while it's usually lemurs taking the L, as apex predators, this monkey cat murks anything that doesn't cook them first. Sometimes they'll even work together, with one climbing a tree to scare prey onto the ground, where the
Damn.
partner can retire their will to
Boy got
live.
hops.
Not bad. Also, I know you see that flex. But there's no bigger flex than this next animal soloing the U.S. Navy. Back in the 70s, U.S. nuclear submarines were forced to fall
Soloing US
back after they took
Navy.
damage. At first, people were rushing to the conclusion that the commies had gotten one over on them.
Mm.
What actually happened was that out of the over 500 species of sharks, the U.S. Navy managed to get griefed by one of the smallest. The cookie cutter shark is only about 1.5 feet, and these giant killers feed on some of the biggest animals
The
in
cookie
history
cutter
for food.
shark
They got their name because this parasite will swim up to
took
a whale and then use its
destroyed
jaws
the
to slice
U.S.
it a perfectly circle-shaped
Navy.
piece
Sorry,
of
I was gonna say
flesh. It
military.
doesn't kill
U.S.
them, but the
Navy.
sea hickey it leaves behind is for life. It's like a parasite tramp stamp. And it's not just whales,
A
anything from
cookie cutter
seals to
shark.
killer whales
I
to
get
even
they're
other
fast
sharks
and
are
all,
gay.
but
On rare
a
occasions, even
cookie
some
cutter
humans
shark.
find out the bitey way. In the 80s,
I
up
actually
to
heard of
30
you.
U.S. submarines allegedly took damage from the cookie cutter's dental, to the point where the only solution was a fiberglass coating. We always talk about great whites, tiger sharks, bull sharks, but none of them can say they successfully committed hit and runs on a superpower's navy. And with a resume like that, they definitely deserve to get talked
Don't
about.
they live in the
Yeah,
Mariana
that's all
Trench?
do it for this video. If you learned something from this video, kindly consider checking out
I
my
learned
book,
a
100
lot from
Animals That
this.
Can Effing End You. Link in the description if you're interested. And if you knew all 10 of these animals already, you have my respect. Drink water, get sun, hug your moms. I'ma see y'all in the next one.
Drink water, hug your mom. What?
Hey, babies. You got 500,000 people that love you. What do you think
That
about
boy a
that?
house cat in reverse.
Yeah. So you got 500,000 people that love you. Yeah.
Just takes a bite of her arm.
Say thank you.
Just takes a big old chunk from her arm. Well, those are a good selection that I actually didn't know existed, but I knew a few of them. I did know a few of them, so I am semi-cultured. Huh. And if you didn't know any of these animals, or if you did know some of these animals, give this video a like. Like all YouTubers, I'm using the video I just reacted to gain likes. I fucked that sentence. Yeah, please do make sure to give this video a like and subscribe while you're at it. Very close to 200. I'm back. I will see you guys in the next video, whatever that may be, whenever that may be. I am not sure whatsoever. Adios.